We don't have an intro, so I just played some rock music for you. This is the Lowco Grind. I am Justin Jarrett, joined as always by Wes Kerr, and we're going to be talking high school wrestling a lot tonight because we had the Lowco Championships this weekend over at Hilton Head High, so we got to sort out a lot of things, and we're going to discuss how things shook out over there. We had boys, we had JV, we had middle school, and we had girls, and we've got the girls champs joining us momentarily with the assistant coach from Whale Branch, Willie White, along with some of the championship girls from Whale Branch, Gigi Rosario and Alexis Walker already in the green room. We'll see who all shows up. We've also got George Dixon trying to get in here with us. We're going to see if we can get him to hear us here in a little bit. He's been trying to get in, but he can't hear us. So maybe we got things sorted out. We'll see. And I just got a text from Zoe Allen. He got a dub. But he didn't even get to wrestle. It was just a forfeit. He's finally wanted to know. He didn't make weight on he didn't make weight on Saturday, so making weight tonight. That got him a dub tonight or last night, I guess, against Carleton. But no, Lowco Championships, super success. May River takes home the boys title, and they had 8 champs. We talked about it a good bit on Monday. We had Ashley Powell and Dylan Seaman on the Lowco Sports Lowdown, so you can go back and check that out for a little bit more on the Sharks, who are in action tomorrow at the Dorman Invitational, Cavalier Invitational up at Dorman. I was just peeping the brackets earlier. So we'll, when we look ahead at the end of the show, we'll talk a little bit about some of the matchups we'll see there tomorrow at that tournament. But let's talk to the ladies of the Lowco wrestling scene, as well as one of their coaches. Yeah, the champs, assistant coach Willie White jumping in with us, along with we got Gigi Rosario and Alexis Walker. Don't have cameras on. I know the Wi-Fi can be a little tricky at times, but if you ladies are able to jump in with us, we'd love to hear from you as well. But Coach, we talked with Zoe Allen, last week about, and he pointed out to us how many girls you had out this year. I was kind of unaware of the popularity the sport had gained with the girls out of Whale Branch, but you guys are taking a whole squad out with you of ladies, and that's great to see, especially at a small school. So, tell us a little bit just about how that momentum got going with the girls. And, I felt like for a while that if a few girls got out there and had a little success and girls could start to see people who looked like them doing it, that they could kind of connect the dots. But tell us how it happened at Whale Branch.
Well, really, it all started with Gigi and Lexi. They wrestled for us last year, with state qualifiers. Hit the social media with all that. Their friends saw it. Got a little buzz around the school. The biggest thing was convincing the mothers and the fathers that their little girls weren't going to get hurt or get beat up on by the guys. And Gigi and Lexi did a great job of conveying the message that, hey, they compete with the boys, they compete against the girls. They get instructions in the weight room, in the wrestling room. They compete just like the guys do. They give it 110% every day. And then when it's match time, they do what they got to do. Had videos. One good thing, I'm in the classroom, so I see a lot of these kids every day. So it helps tremendously getting in touch with them and talking to them. And I know their parents. And so we got 12 girls. We don't quite have all the weight classes, but we should have all the weight classes filled in the next week or so.
Coach, that is tremendous to see this fast-paced growth of women's girls wrestling here and throughout the Low Country. And you guys showed out over the weekend, taking the girls' title and I believe placing 7 individual titles or top 3 finishes. So, congratulations, and tell me more about how it went down over the weekend and how you hope to build off this.
We always have to build from the end in mind. We start with the end in mind. We know when individual state is, but we know at this time of the year it's about the team. So it's important to try and get all the weight classes filled. Like I said, we had Gigi and Lexi coming back. Being a football coach and a soccer coach there, we wear many hats. So I brought in as many of my girls on the soccer team. Said, hey, this is great conditioning. So we've got Samari Gartner, soccer player, little 90-pounder. Her sister, another soccer player, she's 102 pounds. Then we got Lexi at 105, Gigi at 115. Brought in Faith Eugene, who's a track girl, cheerleader at 120. Mary Black, the surprise of the group, she actually came to me at the start of the year. It's like, hey, I want to wrestle. I don't care what. I don't care if it's girls, boys, dogs, bears. I want her. So she's out there and she's doing great. The middle classes is kind of having trouble finding, the 30, 35. Those when you got Danielle Hunter out there, tennis player, soccer player, plays basketball the whole 9 yards. Great athlete. She's out there. She'll probably squeeze in there at 170. Then we got a bunch of young girls, Michelle Buckner, freshman, doing a tremendous job at the 190. And then we got the twins, Paris and London Bowers, out there. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. Ladies, can you hear us? Are you able to come off mute and talk with us for a minute or not? I'm not sure if you're connected or not.
Yes.
Lexi, Gigi. Yeah, jump on with this and tell us about your experience this weekend, because I was over in the other gym coaching middle school, so I didn't get to really take in any of the girls tournament, but it seemed like there were a good number of girls out, and it seemed like good competition. So something for you guys to really hang your hat on, to be able to bring home a championship. And Lexi, you were an individual champ as well. So just tell me a little bit about your experience this weekend and what it meant to you to have a true low country championship for girls wrestling.
For me, it was really exciting because last school year it was more males and we didn't really get as many female opportunities. And now it's nice to see that there's a lot more females wrestling, and I have more competition in my weight class, and I don't have to wrestle boys as much. So it was just a really fun opportunity.
Lexi, you want to elaborate on that?
Yes. This year it's been pretty good, even though I just came off of an injury. That was kind of the most scariest thing. Also, last year, went to state with the injury, but I mean, it wasn't really a challenge, I wouldn't say. I'm kind of glad that it's more females and we're able to not be the only ones just wrestling, and it's also a bigger advantage for us because now that we have more females, it's we could wrestle both because we have a decision.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, you guys can go fill a weight class for the guys on their nights, and then when you get your opportunity, go and show out against the girls. And I'm sure that training with the guys and having to go up against the guys more often than not, when you get to wrestle a girl, you're like, all right, yes, fair fight here, a little bit more fair fight. I mean, you can beat some guys now. I know that. Because we definitely saw a couple girls, at least one girl won their weight class in the middle school division this weekend, which was awesome to see. But how much have you guys been able to recruit your hallways, so to speak, and get your friends to come out and join and kind of get some momentum behind this?
I mean, it was kind of a little hard at first because like Coach White said, it's a lot of people who's oh, well, our parents don't want us wrestling because they don't want us to get hurt, or it's the fact that they think that they have to wrestle males. I mean, it's not always a bad thing to, put yourself out there. But I mean, majority of the kids who did come out and do it, I feel like they like it.
Gigi?
Well, it was hard, like she said, to recruit a lot of people. But a lot of the time, once your friends see that you're having fun and it's actually not as hard as a lot of parents think that it is. And I have not been injured by wrestling both seasons. So it's them seeing that I'm perfectly fine and I'm having fun and I'm getting stronger and I'm getting better. It's easier to see that a lot more girls are starting to want to come. But Alexis, I will give her all the credit because she recruited a lot of the females, to be honest.
Well done. Yeah, that's a big part of it. It just takes that one person and yourself as well, Gigi, to entice your peers to do this thing as well. And soon enough, everybody is getting hooked, and that's what you love to see going forward. But tell me more about you guys, your journeys in particular, and how you entered into this sport. Certainly one that we haven't seen as populated by girls in the past, but one that's starting to really grow, not just here in Wilbridge, but alongside so many other schools in the Lowco. So just tell me about your wrestling backgrounds, your journeys, and how you guys got to the sport and what got you hooked on.
So last year was my first year wrestling. I've always used to, watch a whole bunch of like wrestling videos and stuff like that, even if it was like WWE. I just feel like wrestling was like something that I really wanted to try because like I am a big person on, competition and stuff like that. And it's like it also helps me with like anger and stuff and like physical touch and stuff like that because I am a very playful person and I like to interact with other people and like wrestling just like helps me with like a lot of my anger and stuff like that.
I hear that.
For me, last year was also my first year. So I used to do MMA, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing. I used to do all of that. And so when I started high school, I wanted to do wrestling for a very long time, but I always thought there's no girls doing it, so I don't want to be the only one. And then Alexis was talking about doing it, so I was like, okay, now I want to do it. So I went one practice and she wasn't able to make it. So then Coach White, I wouldn't say yelled at her, but made her come. And so then we had our first practice together and we had a lot of fun. And we've just been getting better and better. My first year, I did lose to a lot of boys, but my first win was like the best feeling in the world. So it's like I really love wrestling like a
When they
lot.
raise your hand, man, when you go hand to hand with somebody and you win the fight and they raise your hand in front of everybody, like it's still like I haven't done it in 30 years, but it's still one of the best feelings. Like it's just a phenomenal feeling when you get to do that. So and Alexis, you got yours raised in the finals, got to win a championship. So that's amazing stuff. And shout out to Charlie Simmons as well, the head coach. Willie, you and Charlie been tag teaming that thing for quite a while. And I know you're a big believer. All you guys coach multiple sports every season, just like all your athletes have to play multiple sports for you to be able to survive at that level. But I know you guys are big believers in that cross training, and especially you've gotten your football players out to wrestle for years, and I love that that's now filtering over to soccer and to track, and just a great cross training opportunity that for me, more than the physical qualities that it brings, is just the mental toughness, the mental, the stamina that you have to have, and the humility that it brings. I mean, no matter how good you are, at some point you're going to run up against somebody who, again, defeats you in hand-to-hand combat and gets their hand raised right there in front of everybody, and you got to slink off the mat. And like, there's a lot of lessons to be learned from that experience. It's very personal, and you really can grow from it when you lean into it. So credit to all you guys, and I'll let you kind of have a parting thought, Willie, before we shift gears, because we do have some more friends to talk with.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for everything you guys do for all the sports in particular. This sport of wrestling is near and dear because, as you know, my child wrestles. So it's fun. I love the girl. If we could get 100 of them out there, we would. Just keep you guys just keep.
You don't have 100, do you? You don't have 100 girls in that school.
Listen, give me 2 weeks. I can probably get about 50.
Hey, well, this will help. Bringing that trophy back will definitely help.
Winning gets people out. I mean, you saw it with our track team. We won the first state. They came back with probably 10 to 15 more girls. They won state last year. So I anticipate 10 to 15 more girls coming out. Like I said, once that first picture hit social media, when we got back to school, actually before I got back to school, I got a text I'll be at practice Monday, and we actually had 3 guys at practice Monday. And
right.
like I said, my phone's been ringing off the hook recently. Girls saying, "Hey, we saw the girls on social media. We think we can do this. We'll try." And it's about competing. I tell the kids, you got to compete at something in life.
Yep.
And this is the best time to do it. You got people who's going to work with you, who's going to coach you through it, pat you on the back when you're doing great, help you when you're not doing good, encourage you throughout the process, and hopefully at the end you get the result. But at the end of the day, it's all about competition.
That's right. Amen, brother. And just pushing yourself to be the best you can be at something, whatever it is. It'll filter into everything else. Well, congratulations again, ladies, and continue to blaze the trail, not only at Whale Branch, but across the Low Country for girls wrestling. We're proud of you, and look forward to seeing you compete again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Y'all be well. Thanks so much to Lexi Walker, Gigi Rosario, and Willie White from Whale Branch for joining us. Had to show the ladies some love for a terrific weekend on the mats. And now we got to shout out our presenting sponsor, Reverence Wrestling Club, right here in Bluffton, over behind the Dunkin' Donuts. If you're keeping track, in the Planet Fitness, they got a fantastic facility and a terrific coaching staff over there, who are really putting the Lowco on the map as far as high school wrestling goes and beyond. They're taking people all over the place, and a terrific place to get some skills. We had Blake in our room at McCracken last week, and it was first time in a while that I had seen him like actually teach. And man, he's just so technical and so knowledgeable and so good. Our kids picked up a lot of stuff in just one day. So if you're looking to take your skills to the next level on the mat, you definitely want to get to Reverence Wrestling Club. But let's shift gears now and talk with some Bridges Prep Buccaneers. We got Coach Hulk Hagan joining us, as well as Jeremiah Chavez, the heavyweight champion of the Lowco. Brad, now we will throw an asterisk in there because Bradley Denmark from Bluffton was up at Hanahan where he won gold as well. So we'll have to set up a match for these guys, Hagan. We'll have to get Chavez.
Hey, it's the heavyweight championship of the world as far as we're concerned.
He's gonna have to challenge the champion, Jeremiah Chavez, the challenger from Bluffton, Bradley Denmark. But no, Jerry, congratulations, man. I was able to congratulate you on a hard-fought match against Downing from Bamberg the other night in person, but I didn't get to stick around. I had to get on the bus with the middle schoolers. I didn't get to stick around for the finals and see you get the win against big Leroy Tyus from Battery Creek. But congratulations on taking the Lowco championship, man. Tell us a little bit about the experience this weekend. Not only winning the thing, but just to be a part of it. I mean, it was really cool for me to see everybody in the area all in one place and really truly be able to just go toe to toe, head to head, and see what happened. So tell me about your day.
So that day, schedules, like the brackets kind of got switched around a little bit. So I was like a little bit nervous.
Yeah, well, because people were scratching left and right, man.
Yeah, I was supposed to have Leroy first.
The scales were a little heavy.
A little, but they gave us a pound, and they weren't more than a pound heavy, were they? I don't think so.
They were pretty heavier than ours.
Yeah,
Coach,
it's all good.
Coach Hagan, how cool is this opportunity to see your guys compete against the Lowco's best and to have everyone together to really kick off this new wrestling season?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Oh, how cool is this opportunity to?
Oh no, it was awesome. No, it was great to be around everybody in the Low Country and to see all the programs around us because we don't always get a chance to go against those teams. And a lot of the kids on the teams know all these other schools' kids too. I catch them talking, shooting the breeze with these other teams. I'm like, get back over here, Going to go get a snack.
Shoot the leg, Johnny. Shoot the leg, Johnny. No, they're all buddies, man. Like they hang out, for years. They've been hanging out in the same gyms all the time. And you're there all day and you only get to wrestle for 12 minutes. So you got to find somebody to talk to and become friends with people. But Jerry, we kind of interrupted you there when we started talking about the scales. But, take us through that day. Like you said, the brackets kind of got jumbled up. And so you kind of had a mindset of who you might see going in, and then it's something different.
Yeah, so my whole goal was obviously I want to walk through the tournament. I want to have some good matches out the way. I knew when I beat Leroy, I would have Bo in the semifinals. But since it switched up, I just had him in semifinals right there. Had a good match with him. I think it was 3-1 in the end. And then in the finals, me and him locked up. And then I knew he was strong. I had to keep moving. I got him in a front headlock and put him in assassins on the edge of the mat. Sort of finished it off early in the first period. But he was really strong. I knew he would be going into it.
Yeah, heck of a victory for yourself, and to call yourself heavyweight champion of the Lowco, that's a big honor. So, just reflect on the work that you put in so far this season, and now what lies ahead for you as you look towards into the new year.
So this season, I was working all year long. Over summer, I was working with Dan, Coop, Hagan, and James at the Foundry Gym. We were getting in some freestyle and Greco training, getting ready for Fargo. Didn't end up going. I had a family casualty happen, so I stayed home. But just kept working here, get some good conditioning at the school. And then now practices have gone a little bit harder since the season's like rolling through, adding in more things, a lot more drilling, a lot more live goes. Just
flip tires.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes.
Them big bulldozer tires.
Well, we didn't have a cafeteria to roll our mats out in today for the second day in a row because we got Christmas concerts. So we got to play dodgeball and knockout and run suicides in the gym.
I know how that is.
McCracken, yeah, welcome to the holidays, right? So that's always fun. We need a wrestling room. But no, it was a great environment. And you guys had a great showing. Came in third behind May River and Battery Creek, which is a credit to the depth you've cultivated there, Coach. I mean, it's a numbers game by and large when you get into a tournament format like that. And you guys were able to put a bunch of dudes out there, and a bunch of them brought home hardware. So credit to you and your program. But shout out some of the guys who really impressed you on Saturday and stepped up for the Bucks.
Well, first off, I just want to say a lot of it was walking the halls in the high school and be like, hey, you look like you'd be a good wrestler. You want to wrestle?
Hey, how much you weigh?
Give me your mom's phone number. Let me call her. See if it's okay. But Trevor Jones, Tony. Yeah. Tony did real well. I was proud of him. That last match was brutal. That kid he was a stud. Where is he from? Hilton Head?
Yeah, Dylan Seaman. Yeah, he wrestled Dylan Seaman in the finals.
Yeah, that was a tough match. Then Kevin Summers just continues to amaze me. Well, you don't even know. Like, he used to reach back all the time. It wasn't until like May River tournament last year he went to reach back, and like me and the other coaches like simultaneously said, "Don't reach back," and he gets down. And he's like, and then he hits the stand up.
There you go. Did you see that? Trevor Tony Jones. I put Tony in there.
Oh, awesome. I didn't see
that. But no, Trevor, he had a tough match with Dylan Seaman, and I just cut a few little highlights. They were pretty even for most of this first period. Dylan was able to score a takedown, but Trevor, aka Tony, he is tough on bottom, man. He made Dylan work, and he was in trouble a lot, but he just was able to scramble out of it over and over again in this first period and keep it a 2-0 match. We got a comment. This must be Tony's dad.
Yep. Tony Senior.
Tony Senior.
In terms of getting into the inside baseball of wrestling, just tell me how Jeremiah Chavez, some of these other guys were able to stand out over the rest and pick up some wins. What have you been emphasizing in terms of technique and kind of what were you seeing from them that have worked so well?
I think what's led to our success the most is the conditioning, because we don't have a weight room in our school. So we push these guys real hard at practice. I just got control of the air conditioning in the gym. So
beware, fellas, it's going to get hot.
Yeah, it's on in there now, man. I just got to crank it up around like 1 o'clock. And then by the afternoon, it's just like steaming in there.
Yeah, that's I wouldn't know a wrestling room if it wasn't. That's the only way. Ours always was. We had a dedicated room, so I think Coach went over there about lunchtime and cranked it up. And by the time we got in there after school, it was toasty. You didn't even have to start working to get a sweat going. You just walked in there. It was like a sauna room. So yeah, I'm familiar with that concept. You got in that gym on Wednesday night or whatever, and it felt like it was just wonderful out there. You could breathe. So nice. But no, Jerry, I've been impressed, and tell us a little bit more about your style. But I've only seen you wrestle a couple of times now, but I've been very impressed with your defensive wrestling, especially on your feet. I mean, you don't give anything easy on your feet. I was really impressed against Downing, like I told you the other day, that you really won that match on generating 2 stalling calls because of the pressure you kept on him. And I think you would agree with that, Coach. Like you kind of forced him to back out a couple of times because you had him on his heels and he just went stumbling backwards. So tell me a little bit more about your style as you view it and how you developed that, what your journey has been through the sport to get to where you are.
So my style is a little bit weird. Obviously, all of us like the first takedown, all this. I like to wait a little bit, conserve a little bit more energy, spend a little bit time more hand fighting, and then working my underhooks. I like to start trying knee pulls and all this. I don't really like to get too flashy. Sometimes maybe at the home meets, show off a little bit. Dan gets mad at me about it, but it's whatever.
Stick to the basics.
Yeah. And then at practice, all we do, drill, make it like a real match. Get some good work in. I got coaches that roll with me all the time. Hagen rolls with me. Coop rolls with me. Dan does. Chip Dan's tooth the other day. He was pretty happy. But yeah, get some good practices in. Get ready for this May River tournament coming up next.
Yeah, let's talk about that because we're going to see a deep and loaded field once again. It has become a prestigious tournament around in the Low Country. So what are you most excited about getting ready for this Shark Invitational coming up next week?
I really want to go against the South Effingham heavyweight if he's there. He beat me at the Newberry Camp duels. He's really good. I like to work. I want to go against him. I also want to go against Bradley. Last year, he beat me twice. He worked me. I want to get my rematch in. But I'm really looking to stay undefeated this season, work hard, get in those close matches, get those overtime wins, all this and that.
I love it. I love that you want the guy that worked you twice last year. That's the only way it can be. Like you can't get better at this sport if you don't want to go wrestle the guy who's beat you every time. And when you do beat him, or if you do, man, we saw a little kid. We got a guy on our McCracken team that he has owned this kid from Beaufort. He's beat him like 8 times in a row, but the kid from Beaufort got him in the finals the other day.
How was that celebration?
I mean, and here's the deal. If you're 0-8 against a dude and you get him on his back, you're going to pin him. Like you're not letting him up. It's not happening. And that dude, he found that dog inside him when he got the opportunity. And it was, even though our guy got beat, I was like, man, I'm really happy for that kid. Like you understand the grind. And I'm also kind of happy for our kid because now he's back on his toes. He's like, better
it's
not get
humble in the sport
again. Better be 9-1 instead of 8-1 against him, or 8-2. So I love that you want a piece of Denmark, and I hope we get to see it at May River. That'll be really fun. There's going to be some great competition there too. That's going to be cool because we'll see some different styles from different parts of the country a little bit and stuff like that. So that's going to be really fun. But Hagen, what was your takeaway aside from Bridges, just from this weekend, as far as kind of the overall level of wrestling? And certainly I was impressed with what May River did. I mean, we all felt like they were going to be a little down this year, but man, they're just growing hammers in that room.
Yeah, well, I mean, not only just the high school level, but the middle school level too. Because I was like jumping from gym to gym. Like I saw you, like I'd find one of my guys on the mat with no coach. I'm like sprinting through the crowd, through like women.
We coached one of your guys one time,
and I'm like trying not to knock small kids over. But yeah, I was really impressed with a lot of the middle schoolers as well as the high schoolers. But it's fun seeing my little middle schoolers scrap because we drive these like 15 passenger buses, and we nicknamed the short bus savages.
Short bus savages. Well, your guy Steven Mater, I love that kid, man. I know he's new to the sport, but gosh, he's just a dog. The way he competes, and he was in a hammer bracket at 120 and came in third. So that was pretty impressive to me.
Yeah, his last match was pretty intense. He got
it was against our guy Wang.
It was right on the corner of the ring, and I was like, is he gonna call the pin on him? But he like waited, and Steven flipped over and came back and beat him on points, I think.
Yeah, that was the match where we were just laughing at each other. Because we were hearing all kinds of new rules. Our guy got warned and banged for stalling for the same untied shoe. I don't know how that happened.
Oh yeah, he was telling me like quit cursing. I'm like, I didn't curse at all. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, that was a trip.
Coach,
but no, it was a great event. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, it was fantastic. They put on a great show, and not see all the local guys wrestle under one roof. That's a treat for us as well. But Coach, I know this is a wrestling podcast, but man, what a start to the athletic year it's been over at Bridges Prep. Volleyball team making it to the state championship game. Boys basketball team out to a fantastic start. So, describe the energy and the vibes over there this fall into the winter here with all the success happening over at Bridges Prep.
Well, let me put it this way. I started at Bridges Prep like 3 or 4 years ago. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. There wasn't like a school kind of like sense of pride when I got there, but ever since like then, like kids are showing up in like droves to our games and like basketball games. We have basketball teams supporting us. They were out at our match the other night, and it's good to see the other teams showing up and showing that support for the other sports teams. And I feel like it's the whole like Bridges family's like growing a better bond by it, just through all this success throughout this like whole season.
Chavez, you up there slapping your belly under the basket in the student section or something for the basketball games?
I don't usually go to games that often. I go to every now and then, but usually they fall on days we have practices or meets, so we're always gone doing something.
Well, and I'll attest that after wrestling practice, you're not really interested in hanging around and being social. You want to go home, take a shower, get some food, and go to sleep. And there's not much else you want to do after that. But, well, congratulations on a great show this weekend, fellas. And we look forward to seeing you again at May River here in a couple of weeks. And certainly again here on the grind, I'm sure.
Was that 38 teams, right?
Yes. I don't know, man. Pal's wild now. It gets bigger every year.
I want to share my shirt with y'all real quick. I got Santa right here taking Dasher down. He's getting a head and antler throw down.
That's outstanding. The head and antler. Yeah. We were going to get George Dixon on here, but he couldn't hear us. I'd love to know if that's an illegal hold. 1 point green. Illegal hold on red. It's probably in the rule book somewhere, but only George and Ty know where it is. None of these other guys. But no, congratulations again, fellas, and thanks for joining us. And we'll talk to you real soon.
All right, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Alex Hulk Hagen and Jeremiah Chavez, Low Country champion. Although, as he mentioned, Bradley Denmark had his number a couple times last year, so I don't know that we can, really put him at number one on the hammer rankings yet. We're gonna have to see that head-to-head before we can do that. But with no MMA segment tonight, it doesn't look like. I was trying to see if we could get Carlo or Abe Stem from the Foundry on, but not able to locate them today. It's holidays. I don't think they're doing big MMA promotions over the next week or two. But certainly, as wrestling season winds down, we will shift our focus a little bit more toward that and get to know more of the folks involved and the what's going on in the local MMA scene. But let's shout out some of our general sponsors for Lowco Sports. Still looking for more sponsors for this show, of course, but to join Reverence Wrestling Club. But our MVP sponsors for Lowco Sports begin with my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports. She's with Keller Williams of the Low Country, and she would love to help you find your place in the Lowco. The market is starting to turn. It's a great time to buy. So if you're looking for a starter home or a forever home here in the Lowco, my wife, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports, can help you find it. And when we do, we'll take you to homegrown home inspections where my friend Jan Lucas and his team will bring expertise and customer service that is unmatched in the Lowco to your home inspection to make sure that you are making a great purchase and a great investment. Homegrown Home Inspections, official home inspectors of Lowco Sports. And when he gives us the go-ahead, Jan and his team will go to Mickelson Law Firm to sign the papers with the official real estate closing attorneys of Lowco Sports and our original sponsors. 6.5 years running, thanks to Ryan and Tiffany and their team at Mickelson Law Firm. Go see them for all your legal needs. And Hospice Care, the Low Country, the official hospice care of Lowco Sports. My friend James Dismond is the CEO, and he's got a terrific staff providing hospice and palliative care as well as free grief counseling here in the Low Country, because at Hospice Care of the Low Country, it's not about dying, it's about living. Those are our MVP sponsors, Wes. And let's take a little bit of a look ahead. And I'll start by sharing my screen here if I can.
It makes sense now because it's the holidays, but it truly is the most wonderful time of the year, as the song goes, when it comes to local wrestling, because my God, we have a ton of prestigious big name tournaments coming up here, and just some great, best on best contests that we saw in Lowco, but now we get to see it expand with what Nate Rivers is doing this weekend, and then coming back home. So it is definitely the most wonderful time of year for wrestling fans here.
I was peeping these brackets from Dorman. Pretty good tournament. I mean, they've got some really quality squads. Dorman, Chapin, Wren, Fountain Inn, Broome, Fort Dorchester. 96 is a really good 2A, 1A program. Greenville's in there. So you got a bunch of good programs in here. Ryan Seaman, Lowco champ. He's seated second here. I'm assuming that's traditional seating would be first, second, third, fourth. So Seaman, I'm assuming, is seated second. Esquivel from Dorman would be, potential target in the finals. Hard to say what's going to shake out there. At 113, you got Leon Ingblom, who also was a Lowco champ, not seeded. He'll have a really tough match here against Rushton from 96 in round 2. Looking here at 20, you got Marcus Folk, another Lowco champ. If he gets out to the semis, he's going to see 2-time champ Ricky Springs for Fort Dorchester, who is only a junior. So he's one of his freshman and sophomore years on his way to a potential 4-timer. 126, that'd be a great test for Marcus. I mean, if you don't want to wrestle that guy and see if you can beat him,
now's the time. This is the time.
Marcus wants to. He's a dog.
Where you want to test yourself. You want to go up against the best now. Kind of see what weaknesses are.
100%. Caden McCallum is the 3 seed. He would have a tough match here with Fort Dorchester's Wilson in the semis, but I think that's a match that he feels like he's got a shot to win. Briones, that was a surprise Lowco champ, but not that surprising if you watched him wrestle. Man, he is really tough. He's the 4 seed. This fella, Gunnar Marshall, is a North Carolina runner-up last year, so that would be a really good test in the semis as well. I did a little research on some of these guys. Rudisil, I love Houston Rudisil, freshman Lowco champ. Witherspoon from 96 would await him. Witherspoon is a 2-time qualifier, 2-time placer. He's a senior. He placed 4th in 2022 at 126, 3rd last year at 132, both in 2A, 1A. So that would be a terrific matchup if we see it in the finals. I'm hoping maybe there's a live stream for this thing, but I'm not going to hold my breath. But, Dorman, they got resources up there. They might have live streaming capability. Seaman, your boy Dylan Seaman, and mine. I love that kid. Number 1 seed, Jones from 96 could be a good championship matchup potentially. Then you got Michael Sands, National Merit semifinalist, number 4 seed. I don't know what Howard I don't know much about him, but that number 1 seed in the semis is always a challenge for sure, that you seek out. Harwell, he was one of the wrestlers of the week, I believe. And he'll take on Johnson from Dorman in the first round, have the number 2 seed up next. And then you've got Rinaldi against Hamrick in the first round. Don't know a lot about Hamrick. Rinaldi plays 3rd, I believe, maybe 2nd, actually, at Lowco. Echeverria, number 1 seed. Really good potential matchup with either of these guys in the finals would be a really good one. Rushton is a 3-time qualifier, 2-time placer. So that would be a really tough match. And then Edwards from Dorman, qualifier last year in 5A. So those would both be tough matchups for him and good tests for a guy that, wants to win a state title.
Yeah.
Sadkowski, he's got a tough one in the first round against Fountain Inn, and then a hammer in the second round if he gets there. Morrow's the 4 seed. I was impressed with him. He penned everybody else who placed at 215 at the Loco. He would have a Donnybrook with Fowler in the semis if he gets there. Fowler, state champ at 285 last year, down to 215 this year. So that's a beastly dude. You would have to think. Bo Gwen, he's got a first round match to try to get to. Guy from North Carolina, or from Tennessee rather, who appears to be pretty tough. So that's how the Sharks stack up in the first round at Dorman, and I'll be keeping tabs on that on Flow Wrestling all day tomorrow, because
that'll be awesome. I'll be over at the Holiday Classic getting ready to watch some hoops. Can't wait for that. So we got a nice Hilton Head.
Yeah, what time they get started tomorrow?
I believe the tip-off's at 2:00, and then I think it'll be around 6:30 or 7. We'll get Hilton Head Prep, Hilton Head High. So be on the lookout for that. We'll have our local lowdown tomorrow. We'll recap it, and we'll probably get at least somebody on to talk about it. Potentially one of those two teams, whoever wins, at the Nest tomorrow night, and then Friday our local Hoop Sports wrap of the week. But yeah, wrestling, this is a tremendous few weeks just to see the best go up against premier talents from outside the Loco. And you said it, but I mean, this is everything. I mean, you talk about what comes up beyond this, competing for state titles, but it really all starts here. Who has that will and that drive and that humility, as you said, because you can expect some of these guys are going to come to adversity. They're going to fall short to really good talent, and it's all about what you take from this one. And you come to win. You go on the mat to win as much as possible, but you do, it's very normal that you're going to come across matches that don't go your way, and it's all about how you react and respond after that. And we talk about other sports and how it's important to have that short-term memory and mentality. I think in wrestling even more so. You just gotta have to have that mental fortitude and humility, as you said, to overcome those defeats. And this is the time of year you really test yourself and kind of see where you fit in terms of your talent, your skill set, what works, what doesn't, and you use it to build your toolbox as the year goes on. So this is such a fun, and same thing for basketball too, but especially wrestling, when you have these one-on-one matchups, it's just you against somebody else. You really get to pinpoint on your skills as an individual, which is really fun. And we did our power rankings for basketball, and I'm excited to see what we come up with wrestling. We name our top competitors in each of these weight classes.
Well, I have actually created a spreadsheet to start tracking that, so I can pull that up real quick. I put in all the Loco top 4 finishers, and then I added in the guys that I knew about. I mean, there'll be more that emerge. So I threw, as you can see here, Jacob Alfonso. I put him in at 4th for the time being at 113. Don't really know what to do with him, just because we know he pinned Hunter, who placed 4th at Loco, so I put him ahead of him, obviously. But we haven't seen him head-to-head with the other 3, so hard to say. He's an 8th grader, He could have entered this weekend, but he would have had to wrestle middle school, and he's a varsity wrestler, so that didn't make a ton of sense. 120 I just have the straight Lowco placings for the most part here. This was an impressive one to me. Houston Rudisill beating Antonio McKnight, pinning him. Antonio McKnight is a good wrestler, a very good wrestler. So that was impressive. It was impressive to me that Trevor Jones, Tony, made it to the finals. That was a really solid showing for him. Devontae Simmons from Hilton Head surprised me a little bit. He was an animal at 150. Here's another one where I inserted Gabe Fulton in at 157. He had been at 165. He's now down to 157. He got hurt at Hanahan this weekend, so I'm not sure how bad it was. Both his brother got hurt for us too this weekend. It was a bad weekend for the Fulton brothers on the injury front, not on the wrestling front. They both went 2-0 and then had to default their third match due to injury. Their finals match. It's really, or I guess it wasn't Gabe's finals match. It was Nate's. 165. I threw Durcio at the top ahead of Summers. No shade, Bridges Prep, but Durcio won the Hanahan tournament this weekend. He's a hammer. Although I'd like to see him in Summers go head to head. And then I also threw Zoe in at fourth here. We'll see. Hopefully he gets a shot at a couple of those. He'll get a shot at Allie Jenkins from Bridges Prep for sure. So we'll see what he's got there. And I threw Bradley Denmark at the top and heavyweight, which Jeremiah justified for me today by letting me know that he hammered him twice last year.
I'm just impressed by the variation of schools in these lists. It's not just Bluffton or May River, but we got Whale Branch, Bridges Prep, Hilton High.
Yeah,
we're really growing together. It's not just one or two.
You got Colleton Prep in here too. Yeah. Carter Simmons finished third at Lowco. That was a really impressive showing for him. Lots of JP2 in there as well.
So, that's what we'd love to see. Everybody growing together, competing together, and that's what this time of year is all about. Especially having a Lowco championship. I mean, that's awesome. Great to see Hilton hosting that, and hopefully that continues to be a big event going forward. To really kick it off.
Rudisill versus McKnight match. I do have that one cut up if we want to watch a little bit of it. Skipping to about midway first period because not much was happening early on. McKnight gets in on a really good single, and Rudisill is able to scramble out of that, which is just incredible work there. His hips are so good.
Great technique.
So quick. I mean, the technique is really nice. And then he gets in on a good single, able to keep his hips up and scramble and get two here. He gets McKnight in a bad position where he's got his legs controlled. He's able to pull out the two there, and then they just stay in a stalemate there for the most part until the start of the second period. And Rudisill really good work there. Working the hands down, and then he's able to just get some leverage. And when he gets an opportunity, he takes advantage. Look at this. McKnight really fighting hard, but Rudisill just can't even get that wing all the way in, but just enough to leverage him over, use his own resistance against him, and then once he's able to get chest to chest, it's all over. And then we already saw Dylan versus Tony, but my camera died unfortunately shortly after that, so I wasn't able to get any more footage from the finals. But it says McKnight whooped up on Tony in the cage at the Foundry. Oh, that was the match they wrestled in the cage. Nice. McKnight's a dog, man. So I'm telling you, Rudisill doing what he did to him was really, really impressive to me, and kind of backed up what I thought from the first couple of times that I saw Houston wrestle. He's really good. And, state championship's a lofty thing to talk about as a freshman, but rankings come out tomorrow on scmat.com, and I'm eager to see who's ahead of him at 138 because I think he's that kind of guy who's got a shot. We haven't had a –
that would be something the freshman champion
around here ever.
That seems something that's pretty rare in the state of South Carolina. To have a freshman win all.
Yeah, but it's actually not as rare as you maybe think. There have been a number of four-time state champs. JJ Peace at Cane Bay is still undefeated in his senior year. Like, he has not lost a match in high school. 3-time state champ and well on his way to 4. I don't see anybody beating him at 126. And then, Ricky Springs at Fort D is already two down, 2 to go. There have been a number of guys, and there are quite a few who are going for 4 this year. Just because the highest level of the sport in South Carolina is not that high relative to the rest of the country. So when you do get a guy who's gone out and wrestled nationally and challenged themselves and really committed to it, they kind of run the state, So I think we'll actually see fewer of those in the future than we have as the caliber across the state kind of raises. And we just won't be able to see a guy come in and dominate as a freshman, because there'll be juniors and seniors who have been doing it for a long time at their weights, at those lower weights. You won't be able to do that anymore. There'll still be rare talents.
Yeah. And that's what makes it fun. When you see those guys who just continue to grind away and soar with the rest. And still got a couple of those rare breeds, and maybe we'll have one in the Lowco in a few years that comes up from Reverence or one of our programs and does something incredible like that.
Well, Rudisil is the real deal. And Ryan Seaman, 106, that guy's tough enough to tangle with anybody who weighs 106 pounds. I promise you that. He's pretty mean, and his older brother's pretty mean. And when your older brother's pretty mean, you're usually pretty mean, because your older brother, taught you how to do it. So he whooped up on you a few times. You had to learn how to scrap for yourself against a bigger guy. So when you get to wrestle somebody your own weight, it usually goes in your favor. The varsity sponsors of Lowco Sports are DDS Web Design and the Parker Law Group. DDS Web Design, the best in the area when it comes to building, hosting, and maintaining websites that get results for businesses and nonprofits, so that you can do more and think bigger. So go to DDSHHI.com, fill out that free consultation, and they'll send you an email, let you know what all you needed to do to get more organic search results and get found online, so that you can do more business. And the Parker Law Group, legal needs across Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties, they got you covered. They have for years, and now they're jumping on board with Team Lowco to allow us to continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Low Country. So, Wes, we promised that we would name our Hammers of the Week. We don't have a sponsor for that yet. We thought it would be pretty cool if we had a Grinders of the Week. We call them Grinders of the Week and give them a free sub or something. But our Hammers of the Week, and you get the first crack. Who you got?
I got my guy Dylan Seaman, who we had on the other week, or the other couple of days ago on the Lowco Lowdown, taking down Trevor Jones in the 144-pound final to win that individual state champion, or the individual Low Country championship, and that's someone who has certainly the skill and talent to potentially compete for a state title in a few months. But man, that May River High wrestling program continues to be the real deal, putting up incredible champions in this event. And then for my girls, I'm going to go to the Whale Branch Warriors. Mary Blackman in first place at 130. We talked about Alexis Jordan Walker, but Black getting it done, bringing them a title for Whale Branch at 130 pounds. So an outstanding job by this Whale Branch program, and great to have the coach on to talk us through it. But just really special to see that culture continue to evolve, and especially the young ladies take part of it, because as they said, I mean, recruiting, it just takes one to really spark the enjoyment and seeing all these other girls step in, and to have that domino effect where now you're getting, 10, potentially 10, 20 plus girls and young ladies involved in this, which would just be amazing. So they're doing things right over there, Whale Branch, and we're seeing girls wrestling just really spike, not just there, but in Bluffton, Hilton Head, where they've had girls programs evolve. So awesome to see, a girls state, a girls state championship in the high school league, and also a girls Lowco championship as well, to see who the best are. And I think it's only beginning over there on that side of things.
Yeah, I agree completely. The girls wrestling is definitely here to stay, and definitely blowing up. I mean, we saw so many more girls this weekend than I recall having seen, in one place wrestling. It was really cool. And I have a photo of the victorious ladies of Whale Branch. This is the photo that got them a bunch of new recruits. Apparently, got phone ringing off the hook. I like to see that hardware.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. When you see winners, your school, and you know that it can be done, and it pushes you to be right there and be in the next picture that we take and with that trophy. So that's what it's all about, and that's winning spreads.
Maybe get you a little bling bling for your neck. No, it's a great thing to see. I've got a few hammers to shout out as well. We're gonna go a little over on how many hammers we give out this week because there was a kind of a rare feat that we mentioned. A couple of guys did, and 4 of them in total. Dylan Seaman, your hammer at 144, but I'll also throw in Josh Echeverria at 175 for May River, Will Morrow's May River at 215, and Gunnar DeGroat, the GOAT, at 190 for Battery Creek. They all pinned all of the other 3 top 4 placers in the course of the tournament. So 3-0 with 3 pins against the other 3 guys who placed in the top 4. That's pretty much as clear cut as you can make.
That's all you can do, pretty much. I mean, that's
yeah. So I'm giving all those guys hammers, and then you cover the girls. So I'm going to go to the middle schools, and I'm going to give a couple hammers out. For Saturday, I'm giving one to Jake Izzy, kid I coached in baseball a couple of seasons, and we had him at Low Country Wrestling Club when he was younger, and then he went and tried out for basketball, and he didn't make it last year. So he went back to the wrestling team, and now he's a freaking hammer. He pinned Cole Sowers in the finals at 120, which was impressive because Cole Sowers has been a hammer since I met him in like 2018. Like, the kid's really good. His dad's the coach at Beaufort High now. He's very good, and they could wrestle 10 times. I don't know how many times Jake would beat him, but man, he went out there like an animal in that finals match. He was not intimidated, and he got the dub. So I got to give him a hammer. But then the 2 nights later, Monday night over at Robert Smalls, Jake, who was the 120 champ in middle school, went head to head with the 126 champ, Elijah Schuler from Robert Smalls, and Elijah manhandled him and pinned him. And again, I don't know how many times out of 10 Elijah would beat Jake. Probably not 10, but on this night, he was an absolute animal, and he went off the whistle and was the aggressor, and he took him down, put him on his back, and pinned him in the first period. So I got to give Elijah Schuler a hammer as well.
Right, to you that quote, I think it was Herb Brooks saying, we can face Russia 10 times, but they beat us 9 out of 10, and we beat us that one time. That's what matters. So
that's all that matters, man.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful thing to see the kids go head to head and get each other and then get each other back and just push each other to keep getting better, to try to stay ahead of each other. That's the beauty of it. That's the iron sharpens iron, aspect of it, of getting better as an area. Yep. Brings everybody along, and we're definitely seeing that continue to happen. So shout out to all the wrestlers doing the work out there. Love my Bulldogs, but man, I was coaching kids from every team this weekend. If you see something, say something, right? And in fact, as Coach Hagan said, it gets chaotic in the gym. They had an injured wrestler at one point, so that took a couple of their coaches away, and they were trying to tend to both gyms. And so we looked up at one point, and their wrestler didn't have a coach, and there was not one to be found. And me and Coach Gearhart, the head coach from McCracken, said, well, we got him. What's his name? And they said, Caleb. And we're like, all right, let's go, Caleb. We were in his corner coaching him up. Unfortunately, we didn't win that match, but it wasn't for lack of trying. So it definitely takes a village, and everybody in that wrestling community is definitely – pulling in the same direction and pulling for the kids to keep getting better and taking it to the next level. So it's great to see, and it was fun to talk about it again tonight. Let's shout out one more round of sponsors. We got the Lowco Booster Club, Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court, Low Country natives, selling the Lowco lifestyle on Hilton Head Island. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country, my buddy Chris Odom, Great dude and the best when it comes to getting your floors clean. He gets them so clean that your feet will thank you. Prime IV Hydration and Wellness is now open in Bellfire Town Village. Great place to get hydrated. Go get juiced up. Wrestlers, get you an IV drip. Fill up on the liquids. You won't be so hungry. And then, you can go sweat it all out in the wrestling room and make weight. Rooted Living Wellness, go see Ambrose Cole, the doc at Rooted Living, to get cracked up and get feeling right. And mind, body, and spirit. He'll just leave you feeling like your best self. Eagle Creations, great place for promotional items, custom apparel, and custom gift baskets. Proudly Southern custom gift
baskets. Those last minute gifts.
Yeah, I think it may be getting too late, but call Bill and Mandy. They'll try to figure it out.
Hey, you never know.
Delivery might be off the table now. You might have to pick it up yourself. And Jay's Barbershop, Jay Alfonso, our guy over there in Ridgeland. He's got all the best barbers, all the best conversation, and the best tacos on either side. So if you're in Ridgeland and you need a place to hang out, go to Jay's, whether you need a haircut or not. Those are the Lowco Booster Club. And so, Wes, I think that's going to do it for another edition of the Lowco Grind. Thanks again to Coach Willie White, assistant coach at Whale Branch, as well as Alexis Jordan Walker and Gigi. Gosh, I just lost her name from the top of my head. Gigi Rosario. That was her name, right? It's been a long day. Thanks as well to Coach Alex Hulk Hagen and Jeremiah Chavez.
Is that his real name, Hulk Hagen?
No, it's Alex. You accidentally called him Hogan the other night, so I told him I was going to start calling him Hulk Hagen, and he said that was his nickname in high school. So now, for Lowco Grind purposes, he's Hulk Hagen, and Trevor Jones is Tony. We don't make the rules. But thanks to everybody who jumped on with us tonight. Thanks again to Reverence Wrestling Club, Blake Maffei over there doing great stuff for the wrestling community, and we appreciate their support, making this podcast happen and helping us continue to shine a light on deserving student athletes on the wrestling mats across the Lowco. We look forward to doing it again real soon. We may take next week off, Wes.
I don't know. We got
we'll see. Yeah, we may need to preview the Sharks, so we'll probably grind. We'll probably grind it out next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we'll see you then. That's going to do it for this one. Until next time, go Lowco.